Hey everybody, it's John from the Hustle Daily Show. Before we get into the news today, did you know that HubSpot launched an AI chatbot that helps you build awesome campaigns at scale with just a few prompts? It's called Campaign Assistant, and it's a totally free to use AI tool that will transform the way that you build marketing campaigns at scale. And the best part? It works seamlessly with all of HubSpot's marketing and sales tools to scale your output across email, social, and more. So AI your way into the most effective campaigns yet at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, December 4th. I'm Ben Berkley here with Sara Friedman, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're going to focus on a tiny stretch of road in Detroit, which now has copper inductive charging coils underneath. Electrified road experiments have started around the globe, and now we've got one going in the US. We all know that a lack of charging infrastructure is playing a role in EV adoption, which hasn't been moving as fast as we want. So could this be the innovation that ultimately convinces auto buyers to go electric? Could be. We'll dive fully into that in just a moment, but first let's get you up to speed with everything else making headlines in the world of business and tech today. OpenAI's forthcoming GPT store, which is a marketplace for developers to sell custom versions of ChatGPT, that's going to be delayed until sometime in 2024. This is probably shouldn't be a surprise given everything that just happened at OpenAI. The company's leadership chaos no doubt played a role in this delay. Pfizer has shelved a twice daily weight loss pill it was testing. The obesity drug was causing too many adverse side effects as they try to chase competitors in Wegovy and Ozempic. But I wouldn't really expect this to deter further development. An estimated 40% of Americans are obese by medical standards, while many, many more just want to lose weight, making this a true money factory for whichever pharmaceutical giant wins this space. A federal jury in Illinois sued several food manufacturers for $17.7 million in damages. This is after they were accused of price gouging eggs in the early 2000s. This has been quite a damaging time for these manufacturers. Federal antitrust law tripled the damages, bringing the total to more than $53 million, which was about the price of eggs back then. Here's a pretty bold one. Former Wells Fargo CEO Tim Sloan, who resigned in 2019 after presiding over the historic scandal where the bank opened up a bunch of accounts and ended up with $4 billion in penalties. Well, Sloan is back now in Wells Fargo's life. He is seeking $34 million in unpaid exit wages. Let's talk about Apple TV Plus and Paramount Plus, which may offer a combined service. This is kind of inevitable in the world of streaming where there are so many options. Both services saw about a 7% customer defection rate in October, which is higher than the standard 5.7% average around the industry. Could the two team up and at least bundle together and get more subscribers? Guess we will see. U.S. movie theaters grossed about $550 million last month, which is down 12% from the previous year. That's not great. I think we can point to a couple really clear factors why this happened. The actors' strike did prevent actors from promoting their work, and there was two really big bombs just out of Disney alone. The Marvels and Wish both underperformed greatly. Finally, let's talk about IKEA, which reported a record $6.3 billion in sales in the last fiscal year. That is up 6.6% over the previous year. The Swedish retailer has taken this power position and done some good with it. They have cut prices to make customers happy, and they've paid out $54.5 million in bonuses to its U.S. workers, which that's really nice. That'll buy you truly so many end tables, it will make your head spin. All right, let's move on to our top story today, which takes us to Detroit, home of the pillowy pizza, the 8-3 division leading Lions, my mom, actually, the U.S. auto industry, and now a potential savior for that very U.S. auto industry. We shall see. A significant EV milestone was set in the city last week And Sara happens to know a lot more about it than I do. So Sara, can you tell us more?
Yeah, so last week, Detroit became the first American city to install an electrified roadway. So this means that when an electric vehicle that has a receiver nears the road, there are copper inductive charging coils underneath the road that transfer electricity to the car through a magnetic field and are able to charge cars while they're driving, parking, or idling on the road. And it's also totally safe for drivers, pedestrians, pets. So we don't need to worry about getting fried on these roads, which is obviously a good thing. But this is very cool. And it's new technology that was created by Electrion, which is a company developing wireless charging solutions for electric vehicles. And the company and the city of Detroit put in a combined $5.9 million into this experiment. And it's going to be the first of many places around the world who will be trying out electrified roads. Israel, Sweden, Germany, Italy all already have contracts for projects that are similar to this, but this is the first American city to do so. And it's going to be a very big deal.
I'm very excited to see how this plays out. I want to say I'd love to see this. It seems like I wouldn't really actually be seeing anything out of the ordinary, which still sounds cool. And I imagine this is going to be, at least this is seen as like a potential way to alleviate some of these concerns going into broader electric vehicle adoption, which I know has been, kind of a story throughout the year where they're just not quite selling as much as they thought they would or would like to. And I know we see some of those obstacles in the way. Do you think this is actually going to help?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big part of what has been slowing down EV adoption is the challenges that come with charging. As it stands now, if you have an electric vehicle, you need to find a charger, and that's not always easy. There are a lack of chargers in certain places around the country, which means drivers can end up stranded with nowhere to charge, which is obviously a huge problem. And then on the other side, the nation's power grid was, designed for a country that runs on fossil fuel. So that will strain as we use more electricity. And there's an 18% increase in electricity demand by 2030. So that's another thing that is standing in the way of broader adoption. So there's still issues to overcome here, but wireless charging, if every road was a charger and you could drive and charge at the same time, that would completely eliminate the problem of looking for a charger and running out of battery in the middle of the road.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that that sounds expensive for one, and obviously it would take a very long time to execute. I guess as I'm reading through this, it seems like another big challenge here is just getting automakers to get on board with this, which I would imagine, you could see some resistance there as they're starting to invest in their own charging monetization schemes, because they do all require, like cars would require specific receivers to work with these roads, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So most electric vehicles, as they stand right now, don't have the receivers that would allow them to charge wirelessly. So, for example, this company, Electrion, is actually working with car brands and manufacturers on building cars that have these receivers, because it's really the only way that electrified roads would make a difference is if cars can receive the charge.
That makes sense. I mean, I will say it seems like for now, it seems like it's just going to be kind of this like lovely little thrill. Do you know how short this stretch is that is now electrified?
Yeah, for now, this is just a quarter mile in Detroit. But the idea here is that eventually this could be most of the country, and it would completely change the way that EVs work in America. There are upcoming plans. Michigan in 2024 wants to open up a bidding process that would bring all of Michigan Avenue wireless. So slowly but surely, we would be chipping away at this. As you said, obviously, this is a massive undertaking. We're talking about installing copper coils under roads across the country. we've seen how hard it is to even install chargers. So this isn't something that would happen overnight, but certainly it's a step in the right direction.
It'll be really fun to watch. And I think that it's sending my mind spiraling in very unrealistic directions about like how there's someone at Starbucks probably being like, we've got to put caffeine under the floors. So when people walk into our stores, they're just like perking up and they're going to buy everything. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah. And aside from personal use, a really exciting part of this is that it would also mean that for public transit, for buses, for long-haul trucks, for delivery vehicles, and maybe even one day for robo-taxis, it could mean electric vehicles. And that's a really big deal environmentally. So it's not even just kind of for the benefit of our wallets with paying for gas. This could be really exciting for the future.
That'll do it for us today. And I want to thank you for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We are a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Ezra Trupiano, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up right now at thehustle.co/email, and we will see you tomorrow.
Let me tell you about a show that I've been loving lately. It's called Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's hosted by the incredible John Lee Dumas. It's available now on the HubSpot Podcast Network. Entrepreneurs on Fire stokes inspiration and shares strategies to fire up your entrepreneurial journey and create the life that you've always dreamed of. I'm a big fan of this podcast. It has energy, it has value, and it's all about learning about entrepreneurship. I was just listening to an episode the other day. JLD interviewed Jay Rogers, who was such a wealth of information. He kind of went into how entrepreneurship chooses you. You don't necessarily choose it, and that failure only happens when you stop trying to win. A lot of gems in this one, so I highly recommend checking out that particular episode along with the rest. So go listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late, since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.